So I love teaching and I love making videos. And I've been looking for a way that I can really combine them together. And what's been difficult is just having my schedule be able to permit the time for me to be able to do that. And it's not the teaching, it's not the content, it's not even the video recording. What takes the most time was the editing. And so I've kind of been searching for the setup, and I think I've found it where I can produce decent quality videos without having to do a bunch of post editing. So the idea is using a lot of techniques that streamers will use when they're not able to do editing, but they're actually pushing out the content, as needed. And so I'm just going to give you obviously I'm not using the setup right now. I'm actually using my DJI Osmo, I think it's called, which is really nice if I have to go outside. But let me show you the setup that I've got. So this first thing, and I've got 3 of these cameras. You can see I printed off this this number 3 with a threaded end to it, so I could put it in this camera just so I know that it's camera 3. I've got 3 of them, and you can see I've also got it in a ring light stand. The stand's a tripod that extends pretty high. I don't use the ring light a lot. It might be nice for close lighting, but I haven't used it a ton. But it's actually, this current setup is facing the whiteboard, which is pretty nice. This light is not really intense enough to light up the whiteboard, so that kind of brings me over to the next thing, which is one of these lights here. So I bought these lights. It actually comes in 2 sets. You can see another one on the bottom left of the frame. They're reasonably inexpensive, and I could change the color temperature of them, and they go up reasonably high, so I've got a lot of adjustment, and the barn doors allow me to kind of adjust and make it so I don't have light where I don't want it, which is really nice. And there's a diffuser. I thought about maybe getting a soft box just to soften things a little bit more, but I don't think it's super necessary. So going down here, turn on my tracking here. I've also got this guy right here, if I could get my camera to move. Yes, I've got this guy right here. This is a Andon microscope. It was reasonably priced, and it has an HDMI output, which is one of the most important things for me, is that it had that HDMI output, and it's got a bunch of different objectives. And so that's nice for viewing really small things like transistors, but also doing soldering demos, right? So looking at circuit boards a little bit zoomed out, but still high detail, so we can kind of see what's going on. So I kind of found this to be an essential thing for that type of work. And of course, here I've got camera 2, one of my, they're essentially GoPro equivalents, and I've just got them on cheap tripods. These tripods have actually been really great so far. And then this actually gets to the most important part of this setup, at least in my opinion, and that's this guy right here, and it's our Stream Deck. So when I push this button right here, it puts me in streaming mode. Of course, the lighting's not ideal. So what this allows me to do is easily change between camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, or I can even view an HDMI device. I've got an HDMI input card that I can use, and I can start recording from here, and also kind of view my volume. And so this has been absolutely essential, because the idea is I can set up my 3 cameras and potentially a computer, and I can use this to just go from camera 1 to camera 2 to camera 3, and I can also zoom in with them. Of course, it's just a digital zoom, so it reduces the quality a little bit, but it turns out to be quite useful. And right, so I just use my work computer to record everything, and of course you can see another light there. Having my workbench is also important. There you can see there's camera 1. But having this workbench, one of the small refinements that I did just to minimize wiring, because this whole setup does take a bunch of wiring. Right, you can see right here I've got a USB multiplier, so I got like 4 inputs, and I've got a cable that runs down just so I don't have to have much cabling. But you can see each one of these cameras has a dedicated USB 3.0 cable, and so that does create a little bit of a problem sometimes, but not that big of a problem. So flip back. Yeah, I'm super excited about this setup. It's not that expensive. Honestly, the last thing I should talk about is I've got these DJI microphones, right, the lapel mics. So they come in this nice little unit, and the microphones look like this. And obviously I needed something that I could get good sound quality wherever I'm at. And so I would go, wherever I'm walking. I'm not using the camera's microphone, but those lapel mics, those are probably the most expensive thing in my set, but I wanted to have decent microphones. And so including the microphones and the cameras and the lights, I mean, this whole setup is around, $700-ish around there. But the key thing, right, that I tried to optimize for was time savings, right? I wanted to be able to set up something quickly and not have to spend a bunch of time editing. Of course, in some cases I will have to edit a little bit. And I'll probably make another video talking about the software, because all of this is captured with OBS Studio. And so everything, it doesn't record to individual SD cards, it actually goes right to my computer. And it just makes one seamless video as it transitions from scene to scene. But there's some certain filters that I had to use, because these cameras, these GoPro equivalent cameras, they have fisheye lenses, and so that can make things kind of distorted. And so there's tricks that I found in OBS to remove that fisheye effect and make them just a little bit more manageable. But anyways, I just kind of wanted to document this setup because I wanted to share it with a couple people, and I think you might think it's cool too.